Hi guys, Righteous Rhema here, bringing you your dose of truth for the day, and that is this. You are allowed to change the price of what it costs to access you. I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but you're actually allowed, you're permitted to change the price of what it costs to have access to you. I saw this quote on Instagram a few minutes ago, and I was like, let me share this, because I've been kind of mean in my last few videos. I was like, let me show them that you're actually a very nice person. And actually on my lunch break, I saw two quotes, and I saw like two signs. One said, be nice, one said, be kind. So I'm trying to be nice in this video. But you're allowed to change the price of what it costs to access you. Did you know that? 95% of some of you all's struggles and traumas and suffering and pain and agony is because of somebody that you let access you regularly. You know, you can't schedule, the random stuff. Like, you can't schedule a burglar or a carjacking or whatnot. But a lot of the people that's causing you suffering are people that you let access you regularly. But you're allowed to change the price of what it costs to access you. And there's a thing, y'all. For example, they're trying to, they're gentrifying downtown, and I won't even define what that is, but look it up. But sometimes what people do is when they want to get rid of somebody who's annoying or who's not beneficial, they'll just raise up the prices or something, make the prices go higher. And that's what some of y'all need to do. Y'all, if y'all want to clear out some land and build something more beneficial, more productive for you, you got to raise up your prices. I was at a church service a few weeks ago, and I was praying. I was interceding in the prayer service. Well, I was interceding in the church service, and I feel God telling me, all the people that's in here, pray that it's gonna sound weird, but pretty much pray that it costs more for the demon that's bothering them to access them. You know how the Bible verses Jesus said, the demon goes out of a man, if it comes back, it costs 7 times, it brings 7 times worse demons with it. So he was having me to pray that the rent goes up in their soul, so that the demons that used to bother them can't even afford, it's not even worthwhile paying to bother them no more. And I was thinking about, man, what if we made it hard for people to access us? What if our rent went up so much so that every annoying, trifling person you know couldn't even reach you? Now, sometimes what we do is we'll change our phone number. That's one thing we do. We change our phone number. We'll block people off social media. But you're allowed to change the price of what it costs to access you. And so before, like, sometimes, it was one young lady I saw, she was a reality TV star. She was saying, when the dude went to ask her out, he's not allowed to text her. He has to call her. Another lady I was hearing on YouTube, she said, when a guy who, he would see her out in public, and he was really shy, so he went to inbox her on Facebook, and she was like, no, don't inbox me on Facebook. You see me in public, you need to come to me in public like a man. So she changed the price of what it costs to access her, because 1 million men can hit you up on Facebook in the inbox. 1 million men, literally 1 million men can inbox you on Facebook. But it takes a certain kind of man that you may want to date that will actually come to you in person and risk you rejecting him to his face, he thinks you're worth the risk. So some women are saying, it's going to cost this for you to access me. Some women say, our first date will be at church, meet me at church. You know what I'm saying? So you're allowed to change the price of what it costs to access you. Today, I have an example. 2 clients, well, a recurring client, and then somebody who met me through that same client. They reached out to me today. When they asked me for my invoice, the other one asked me what I charge. And so I always get really uncomfortable when people ask me what I charge. I say it, I'm like, I hope they like it. I hope they're okay with that. And I was like, Missy, send the invoice. You know what I'm saying? Because if they wanted to access you and your gift and your camera and your editing, they're going to have to pay the price. And if they don't like what I charge, then they just won't have access to me. But some of you all are so desperate that you'll say, okay, is that okay? Okay, how about this? Okay, how much for this? Okay, is that okay? This work for you? Okay, good. I will make sure I book this client. You all, everyone you book is not worthy of being booked. I have some horror stories about some of my old clients. You know what I'm saying? And the only way I got rid of them is I went up on my prices. I went up on my prices, and they couldn't afford me no more. But guess what? I lost their money, but guess what? I lost all the stress of them constantly calling, constantly harassing, constantly complaining, me constantly calling them, asking them for the rest of the money, all the things. All that was eradicated because I went up on my prices. When they inbox me now, I send them, you know, my price. I send them my website. I send them my cost sheet. I never hear from them again. You are allowed to change the cost. You're allowed to change the price of what it costs to access you. But you're too accessible. That's your problem. Everyone can have access to you. Everyone can reach you. I was listening to this. It's like the Trap Queens of New York. It's like a TV show that's out. A documentary, whatever. And one lady was saying her scam was, she went to jail for this too. Her scam was she would make up proof of income or something like proof of income or something like that. So for people who want to buy gold bars, like gold bricks, it's one company you had to have at least, I think, $10 million in your checking account. Even though the gold brick only costs, I think, like $100,000, they wouldn't let you go into the building to get a brick unless you had proof that you had at least $10,000 in your checking account. All right, so it was either $10,000 or $25 million. You had to have $25 million in your checking account in order to come in their store and buy a $100,000 brick. So her scam was she would falsified records, falsified records, make people think you had more money than you had. So that right there showed me these people who have these gold bricks, they're like, we're gonna increase the price of what it costs to access us. We're going to increase the price of what it costs to access us. They didn't want everybody in there. They didn't want a man up in there with just $100,000 in his checking account, or $200,000 in his checking account, or $1 million in his checking account. They only wanted people having access to their gold bars who was worth at least $25 million. You know what I'm saying? So you're allowed to do that. And they say that's not fair, that's not right. What does it matter? If it's $100,000, I got $200,000, what does it matter to you what I have in my checking account? They have the right to change the price of what it costs to access them. They can double it when they want. They can have it when they want. Halve it, as in, cut in half. So I want you all to understand that, this is another thing y'all gonna have to understand. You don't owe nobody one chance. You don't owe them a chance. You certainly don't owe them two chances. Nowhere in the Bible doesn't say everyone who ever wants to talk to you must have access to you at all times. Everyone who wants to talk to you must have your phone number, your Facebook friendship request, access to you, and email. The Bible never said that. In the Bible days, there was no social media. There was no internet. So the only people who could reach you in the Bible days was people in your own village. There was no mail. There was no Skype. There was no Zoom. Only people who could reach you were people that were in your village, in your family, right? And as far as dating you was concerned, they had to go through your dad and your mom to get to you. So don't tell me they're lie that everyone has to have access to you, or you're such a jerk, or you're an a-hole, you're so rude, you're so bougie, you're so suck up. That's nothing wrong with that. Everyone should not have access to you all the time. And that's why you're so stressed out. That's why you're so anxious. Because you have access to everyone else's social media page, what they're doing in their life, who they're dating, who they're married to, how much money they make a year. You have too much access to too many people. That's why you're stressed out and you're burned out. If you had to get off social media for a minute, you would actually feel content in your own life. So no, you don't have to give everybody access to you. And another quote, Dr. Mike Murdock, I love his quotes. Dr. Mike Murdock says, once I give you an opportunity, I owe you no more. Once I give you an opportunity, I owe you no more. So if you give somebody access to you and they violate their access, it's like giving somebody a key to your apartment. You come at your apartment, everything's missing, or they trash the whole apartment, or they got people living in your house that you didn't give permission to. They violated the access. So when they violate access, you say access denied. So again, you all, your problem, it's not so much a people problem, you have an access problem. You're too accessible. Your phone is on all the time. Yeah, I put my phone sometimes on airplane mode where people cannot reach me. Airplane mode, do not disturb, silent, I cut it off, leave it in my car. It's my phone. I determine who accesses me through this cell phone. And then when they do call, I can ignore it, I can silence it, I can block it. I control this here cell phone. I pay the bill on this here cell phone. I pay this phone off. I don't have to answer to nobody on this cell phone. I don't, because it's my phone. Now, if I was married, it'd be different. If I was a parent, it'd be different. but I don't have to answer to nobody on this phone because it's my phone. So I don't have no access problems because everybody can't access me. I'm not fully accessible. I used to be out when I was codependent. I was fully accessible. Everybody could reach me. Everybody could access me, call me, 11 o'clock at night, asking for a flyer, call me at work, ask me to make a flyer in a couple hours for an event. I was too accessible. I tell them what my price was for photography. They could say I pay you a third of what you asked for. I was too accessible. But when I put up my boundaries, I became inaccessible to everybody who was not worthy of access, and my life was so much better. So thank you guys for watching. Please share, subscribe. Please watch your access. Watch your doors. Watch who has access to you. Thank you guys for watching. Please share, subscribe. Bye-bye.